Being kidnapped by aliens was actually surprisingly relaxing. One moment I was having a nap in my truck. The next, I was floating, lifted up into the air by a force I couldn't see, and surrounded by warm, bright light. It was a bit like going to Hawaii. Last time I went to Oahu, I spent hours on an inflatable, drifting just off the beach in the tropical sun. This was remarkably similar. I could have done with a Mai Tai, but the fuzzy haze you get after waking up from a really good nap wasn't a bad substitute. I couldn't see anything above me except the white light. Well, maybe the outline of something circular, a bit where the blackness of the night sky was a little blacker. I could see the trees below me, getting further away by the second, and it occurred to me that I should probably be concerned about this. On the other hand, it didn't seem like I could do anything about it. I was starting to realize that my limbs weren't responding. I'd been paralyzed. Even if I could move, though, I was at least 200 feet up now. Where would I go? So I decided I might as well lie back and enjoy it. Wherever the white light was taking me, I could worry about it when I got there. All good things must come to an end, though. I still have no idea how long I was in the air for. Probably minutes, although it felt like hours. Either way, eventually I saw I was passing through some sort of hatch, and then I felt something cold and hard beneath my back. Then the light shut off, and I was in total darkness. I was still 50-50 on whether this was real or I was still dreaming, but there was something about the sudden cold. If I'd been asleep, it would have woken me up. Short of pinching myself, the cold was solid proof that this was all actually happening. It wasn't just the metal board I was lying on, the whole room was cold. Hello? Anyone there? Lights came on. Not as bright this time. It was more like mood lighting, coming up from the floor at the edges of the room. I could see that I was in a hemispherical space, and there was a contraption right above me that put me in mind of an egg beater that had had unnatural relations with a floodlight. I could also see a faint shadow of myself on the wall. It looked like I was lying on a table, but one with no visible means of support. Then I started moving again. Still paralyzed, I drifted out into a corridor, which was like a half oval with a rib every 10 meters or so. The general color scheme was gray. I couldn't even tell whether I was looking at metal, plastic, or something else entirely. Anyone feel like, telling me what's going on here? I called out. No answer. As far as I could see, and I could turn my head a bit, I was the only person around. Again, I decided that since I couldn't do anything about it, I'd just relax and see where the floating table took me. It was a little less comfortable this time. Anti-gravity or whatever is all very impressive, but they could have added some padding. New room, hemisphere like the last one as far as I could make out. Couldn't see the walls, though. This time there was only one light, and it was coming down in a cone from the ceiling, making one bright spot in the center of the room. The floating table stopped right in the middle of it. Despite the darkness, I got the impression that I wasn't alone in the room. There were shapes, faint shapes, but I could just see them beyond the edge of the light. They started moving towards me, and my heart quickened a little. So guys, what can I do for y'all? The shapes stopped. I heard something that sounded like glurmshthurmsh. Come again? The comment was, this subject seems cooperative. A voice from the darkness spoke. Perfect American accent, too. Maybe a little too northeast for my liking, but I'm a Dixie man through and through, so I'm biased. Please tell us, do you understand what is happening to you? Well, I reckon I've been kidnapped by aliens, and you're going to do some sort of experiments with me now. That about the long and the short of it? Your assessment, while not complete in its specifics, is broadly correct. I thought about asking if they were going to anal probe me. Then it occurred to me that if that was just an urban legend, bringing it up would make things kinda awkward. I didn't want the first extraterrestrials I ever met to come away with the impression that I had some sort of weird sex fetish. Didn't want to be giving them ideas, neither. So, like I said, what is it y'all want with me? We would like to ask you some questions. Questions? Is that it? Yes. Our mission is to understand the psychology and culture of humans. We find that the most efficient and effective way to do that is with direct interviews. Well, I guess I can spare you a few minutes. A thought occurred to me. I'm not going to tell you anything that might compromise national security, though. So if you're going to ask me about air bases and missile silos and stuff like that, you can forget it. Another thought occurred to me. Although I suppose it's not like I actually know anything useful in that regard. Still, whatever you want, I'm not going to betray my country. Got it? Your conditions are acceptable. May we proceed? Sure, go ahead. What is your current opinion of Britney Spears? What now? If I hadn't been lying on my back, my jaw would have dropped open. The popular music star Britney Spears, you are aware of her, yes? Sure, everyone's heard of Britney. Then please tell us what your current opinion of her is, especially in light of her recently released autobiography. That's what you want to know? Yes, please. We will have other questions afterwards, but we would like to start with Britney Spears. I did my best to shrug while paralyzed from the neck down. Well, I don't have too much of an opinion one way or the other, to be honest. I've never been much of a one for following celebrity drama. I guess I'd say that she seems like a nice girl who got a raw deal, and I'm happy things are going better for her now. Seriously, that's really what you brought me all the way up here for? To ask me about an early 2000s pop star? Yes, it is necessary for building a complete model of human psychology. We are aware that most humans do not consider this subject as important as some others. But you do spend more of your time discussing Britney Spears than, for example, the economy. Much, much more. Guess you've got me there. I mean, not me personally, but I can see where you're coming from. Still, I would have thought you guys could, tap into our internet or something, find out that way. Oh, we can. In fact, we tried posting questions on several social media sites. YouTube, Reddit, Quora. Ha! I knew it. I knew the people who post questions on Quora couldn't be human. And as for Reddit, unfortunately, it was very hard for us to filter genuine opinions from those who were either joking or, for reasons beyond our comprehension, deliberately attempting to start an argument. And even many of the honest answers assumed context we did not have. We have found that the most effective way to gain insight into the human mind is to ask direct questions in a controlled environment. Can I just check? You're going to put me back when you're done, right? Oh yes, we try not to keep humans aboard our ship a moment longer than necessary. There were several ways that could be interpreted, but I decided to ignore them. Well, let's keep in moving then. The quicker we get through your questions, the sooner I'm out of here, right? And by the way, have you ever considered putting some upholstery on this thing you've got me on? Because it's damned uncomfortable. This has not been communicated to us before. We will make a note of it. Really? No one's ever told you this thing's about as comfortable as a concrete futon? I'd have thought someone would have mentioned it. No. Most humans we co-opt for our research have much higher anxiety levels and are much less cooperative than you. You mean they're scared silly and not feeling all that talkative? That is a possible interpretation of the data. Listen, you get a proper chair with padding, adjust the lights and put on some music, and people would feel a lot more relaxed. Maybe some food, too. Proper earth food, mind you. Don't want none of your green goo or whatever it is you eat. We will consider that. All right, well, let's get on with the questions then. They asked me about everything from movies to internet slang. I explained to them that while I knew the meaning of the word riz, I'd never personally used it in conversation and didn't know anyone over the age of 20 who would. I gave them my thoughts on Leonardo DiCaprio, great actor, loved him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Mike Vrabel, best thing to happen to the Titans in years, and Hillary Clinton, less said the better. They also asked me about the new iPhone, the UI changes to Google Chrome, and Azerbaijan. I didn't have much to say about any of them. Must have taken a couple of hours at least, but finally it seemed like they'd run out of things to ask me. They were talking amongst themselves in that soft, mushy whispering of theirs, and I decided to try and get some questions of my own in. So you're from another planet, right? Yes, a long way away. Our homeworld is within this galaxy, but from your perspective, yes, a long way away. And you've come all that distance just to find out what we're thinking? Yes. Why? Because humanity has the potential to become the dominant species in this region of the galaxy. We wish to learn everything we can about you so that we can establish a harmonious relationship once humans leave their home system and first contact becomes unavoidable. I raised an eyebrow. You really think we're gonna got the distance, huh? We hope so. You are an interesting species, and it is the most likely projected outcome. Well, that's a relief. Because I gotta tell you, some days it seems like we'll blow ourselves up or destroy the planet or screw up some other way and wipe ourselves out. It'll be nice to know that someone has faith in us. Unfortunately, you will not remember this information. Now that the interview has been completed, we must erase your memory. Oh, right. Guess I should have figured. It's not going to leave me a vegetable or anything, is it? The memory erasure is highly selective. All memories pertaining to this encounter will be removed. All others will be unaffected. So I'm not going to remember any of this? You may retain some residual memories at the periphery of the erased section of memory. Some participants are able to remember a bright light and a feeling of weightlessness. In a very small percentage of cases, the memory wipe is not fully effective, and fragments will remain. However, even in that instance, it is not likely that the subject would remember the details of the conversation. The human mind tends to respond to memory gaps by inserting its own interpretation, creating new memories based on past experiences. This has the potential to create unpleasant experiences. But as the experiment has progressed, we have become a lot more careful about screening potential subjects for prior psychological trauma. We estimate your likelihood of adverse effects from the memory erasure to be less than 0.01%. Well, seems a shame to go through all this and then not be able to remember any of it. On the other hand, if I told anyone, they'd think I was nuts, and I'd never be able to keep this to myself. The memory erasure will begin shortly. It has been an interesting experience meeting you. Farewell. Likewise. And remember what I said about getting some soft furnishings up in here? Anyway, I woke up in my truck, surrounded by empty beer cans. Wasn't quite morning yet, and I reckoned I wasn't quite sober enough to drive home yet, so I decided to get some air and walk it off. Headed away from the forest, out into the fields through grass that was almost up to my chest. And as the breeze blew cold air over my face and rustled the grass around me, I happened to look up. All those stars, millions and millions of them, all out there, just waiting for us. I was a bit confused for a moment, as I wondered where that thought had come from. And then it all came flooding back. The bright light, the floating, the ship, and the aliens, and their goddamn inane questions. Maybe they just screwed up the memory wipe, forgot to turn the machine on, or accidentally removed a couple of hours from some other day. But maybe it was on purpose. Maybe they wanted at least one human to know that we've got a chance, and that someone out there is rooting for us.